My Gavan and Melanine, and well met. I am Commander Sol, the lead developer of Conflicts of Rydor, and yes, I did borrow Arahir Galadirthan's introduction there, but it fits no video more than this one. For this is the pre-release faction overview for the Ñoldorin realms in Conflicts of Rydor. I promised my fellow team members that I would start saying the name of the mod properly, so it should really be Conflicts of Eriador. And I shall endeavour to remember that. But that is not why we are here. It has been a long time since I said this video was imminent. And that's because it was imminent back then. And it turned out to be not imminent, because although the amount of work was rather small, it has taken a while to be done. I have left open this message here because it details the first of the things you need to know about the elves. Most of their generals are not here yet. And the next one is their barracks event. The Lindar and this is mostly taken from Divide and Conquer again, because I've kept their general system of the Lindar and Cindar coming only from the waterways of Middle-earth. The Naldor coming from the mountains and the plains. The Eldarinwe, who are no longer actually called Eldarinwe, we've changed their names, and they may change again, being available only in Mislond, Ostinethil, and Imladris. Ostinethil being somewhere down here. I'll quickly toggle for war, actually, so you can see the map properly. And there are the Eregian elves as well, which you will gain after, surprise, surprise, conquering Eregion. Right, so first things first, let's take a look at your starting domain and army size. As the Ñoldorin realms, you will start with a decently sized domain with well-developed provinces, which is very unusual in this mod, because most of Eriador is still a wasteland. You are also one of only two factions to start with a split domain, with Imladris in the east and Linden, the Havens, in the west. Your recruitment system is also very unique, but before we get on to that, let us take a look at your starting army. In Mislond, we have Círdan, the shipwright, with a unit of Lindar bowmen and Linden long spears. He has a custom bodyguard unit, as do all of your starting generals, in fact. In Harlond, you have Linden long spears and Lindar guards. And in Forlond, Linden long spears again, and Lindar mariners. Over here, in the South Farthing, we have Gildor Inglorion, with his own custom bodyguard and another unit of Lindar guards. And then, over in Imladris and thereabouts, we have two units of Dunedain wardens. And in Imladris, we have Elrond with your most powerful available on many region unit, the Naldor. The recruitment system for the elves is very, very unique. In that, you can only recruit your good units, all of your units in fact, from special buildings that are available only in Eregion and Linden, but not each in both. In Eregion, which is from here in Imladris, down along the eastern bank of the Bruinen, to Tharbad and down here, not including Tharbad, mind. There's Ostinethil there. You get the Eregion Guildhouse, which recruits your Lindar guards, the Omanyar, the Noldor, and the Eregion units themselves. I won't show you their statistics, because that is the purpose of the second half of the video. You do get Eregion smiths, which are not these all-powerful warriors. We need to update their unit info card. They are actual smiths now, from the blacksmith at its highest tier, which is, again, only available in a few locations. You then get the... where is it? There should be... Oh, no, that's because we're on city at the moment. There is the Elven Havens, which are available in Linden, all the way on the other side of the map. And there you get the Linden units, you get the Cindar units, and a new unit there. And you also get the Mithlond nobles, which have been renamed to the Falathrim nobles. They still look like this, although their unit size, as you can see, is very small. And that is the key feature of the elves. You will be struggling for units. That is inevitable. This is the barracks that's available everywhere, and we need to update this because these units won't actually be trainable, just retrainable. Your armies will be small, both in number of units and in the size of said units. Your first tier, the Lindar, have 100 soldiers plus 2 officers. Your elites, the Naldor, have 50 soldiers. And your uber elites, the Eldarinway and special units, have 30. Normally, this would be absolutely impossible to win with, but we have a lot of relentless animations now, and we have been using them quite liberally. We have relentless spear units for the defenders and Círdan's bodyguard. We have relentless single-handed sword units. We have relentless two-handed sword units. We even have a relentless pike unit. Yes, that is perhaps the most overpowered unit already, and we have gone and made it relentless. It is still very much killable, though. Only managed to kill about 1,500 snagger. That's 30 elves managed to kill 1,500 snagger stalkers in open field. On bridges, they killed much fewer, because on bridges, they have to fight. They're being pushed back by the mass. The Haven port is available. The Havens are available in Forlond, Harlond, Mithlond, and all the way up here on the Isle of Himring. The Eregian guild halls are available in Imladris, Brunost, Myrdaithrond, Amunlind, Anonen Oros, Ostinethil, and we may decide to include the Western Tharbad in that as well, but that is unlikely. As you can also see, we haven't finished the map yet, because this entire river will be sailable when we are done. Scripts is the next part, and the first part of that script will be talking about your generals. As you may have noticed, you start with only 3, Gildor Inglorion, Elrond, and Círdan. However, the twins, Elladan and Elra here, will return once you've done a couple of things, like send diplomats over here, and potentially fight a couple of battles as well for the Dunedain. They will return with their own bodyguard unit, the Erasiando Tirmor, or the Watchers of the Lonely Lands, I believe that translates as, who are very strong two-handed swordsmen. They will also spawn with a unit of Dunedain Wardens each, I believe, although that may not be the case. Then, when you have fully conquered Eregion, Dornan Orsten the Smith will spawn for you with the Hammerguard of Eregion, or is it the Hammerguard of Celebrimbor? We will find out in the second half of this video. Who are two-handed strike infantry, wielding massive warhammers, and they are incredibly deadly. Do not fight them if you get the chance. Seriously, you will lose. I guarantee that. Then we have the Lord Phelan, who is a fictional character we created to lead the last of the Falathrim into battle. On about turn 30-something, a force of wargs will descend from Angmar, crossing the wide leagues of Eriador, and they will lay siege to the Grey Havens, the surrounding area. You will have to kill these wargs, and to do so, Phelan will spawn with the Gwaini Lying, or Wind of Blades, I'm not 100% certain on these translations. I will look them up before I record the second half of the video. So if I get any of them wrong, I will say there. And they are a very strong sword staff unit. Hence the name Wind of Blades, or Blade Wind, or something along those lines. Those aren't the only 4 generals you can get, though. If Imladris is besieged, and you don't have very many soldiers inside, if you have less than 5 units inside, a small force of Dunedain will spawn under your command, and they will not despawn. You will get those units permanently. So you could exploit this. I would rather you didn't, but you could if you had to, or if you wanted to, and I would be absolutely powerless to stop that. There's no special units in there, just a couple of Dunedain Rangers and Wardens. The Rangers are much weaker than your own archers. The Wardens are spearmen, but they're weaker than your weakest unit, so I don't see why you would exploit it. Maybe just to get some more warm bodies in the field. This general that spawns with them will also be able to get reinforcements from the Dunedain for winning battles. He can only get the reinforcements 6 times, however, so be wary of that. I've just realised that I managed to skip your expansion options early in the game, and for you have rebels everywhere. You can go take Falastir, you can take Undertowers, or Perthin Loon, Barithalas, Thamgelar, Bari Meal, Bruinost, and Benesrovanin, as well as Mirdaithrond, without having to fight anybody around here. You could declare war on Rudar if you wished to. I would not recommend that you do that, though. They are quite well spec'd to counter you. Angmar will, of course, be your main enemy, as it will be for most of the good factions in this region, because they are everywhere and they will not stop. They will get a lot of assistance. Then we come to the Misty Mountains, the Goblin Town, Gundabad in the north, and Moria in the south. All of these factions, Goblin Town not playable, will attack you, probably. And they have the use of the passes in the mountains, which I took great care in testing. Every single pass here is usable. We will also fix this issue around Khazad-dûm later. So that's your expansion options. That is your building options. Actually, it's not quite your building options. You can also get the Fingolfin's Retainers and Roquen in Imladris at the start of the game. They won't be available at the start of the game in your own builds, so you'll just have to deal with that. The Gwaith Myrddin is available, of course, only in Ostin Ethil. We would not be fool enough to make you get it everywhere. You can get the Master Builders, you can get Siege. You get 3 tiers of ports. You are the only faction in the map, I believe, to get 3 tiers of ports, for there are no other seafaring nations here. Not yet, anyway, and I will not say any more of that matter until the developer diary this weekend. You get the 3 tiers of the Ñoldorin Bladesmiths Guild, which also provide you with the Eregian Smiths. You get the art gallery, which is a strange one and will probably be removed. You get the town hall, as does everyone. You do get the garrison's buildings, but they will be removed, or at least they will not provide a garrison when assaulted. Garrisons will only be available to the AI and only in major settlements. You can recruit the Dunedain Wardens and Scouts in the Dunedain camps, which are available regions scattered around the map. And you, of course, get the public baths. You don't get many buildings, actually, as the elves. So that is how you're going to have to work it. I will give you a word of advice. In the testing I have already done, which is not incredibly huge amounts, but against Angmar, use archers. Do not try and beat them in melee. you will lose because you do not have the manpower to soak losses. You cannot afford losses at all. Every elf that dies, you will feel painfully. You cannot, as you would perhaps in Divide and Conquer, be blasé with units. You can't just send them out to die. Even in Divide and Conquer, the elves are quite forgiving. They are not so here. They are very, very strong units, but they are very rare. They are very small, and if they die, you will not be able to replace them easily. So beware. Gildor can be sent either back to Linden, as he is much closer to that place than to the Hidden Valley and Maladris. And you can send him either way, or you can get him to set up shop somewhere around here. Though I would not recommend doing that, as it would split you 3 ways, and you really cannot afford that. But that does bring us to the conclusion of the first part of this video, so I will see you on the battle map to take a look at the rosters. And here we are on the battle map, and you see before you the entire roster of the Ñoldorin realms. Well, most of the roster. Then you have all of the Bodyguard units away to this side. And the first thing you will notice, we'll get back to these in a minute, is that your roster, other than the cavalry, the units are much smaller than other factions. This is the weakness of the elves. They have no other. And let's start at the beginning then with your, militia tier, I guess. These really aren't militia though, as you will see now. The Lindar Guards, your basic sword and board infantry. They are your first unit, and they cost 1,000 gold. They have 18 total defense at 10 attack with a 6 charge bonus. They are very good. They will kill a lot, as they well should, because there are few of them, and they are elves who have been around for years. We have the Lindar Mariners, who are very good javelin troops at this stage. They have 17 total defense, 14 attack, 9 missile attack, which is armor piercing, and 8 charge bonus. They don't have a shield, they dual wield in melee combat, and they have 3 javelins to unload. They're good units again. They won't die easily, but they will die slightly easier than the Lindar Guards. Linden Longspears, your first and most available pike unit. The names are all subject to change, but it is unlikely that some of them will. 5 attack, so effectively 15 attack because they have the pike animation, 5 charge bonus, and 14 total defense, more than half of which is armor, which is very good for pikes, because unless they're targeted by crossbows, they will always have strong defenses. They may have swords in their scabbards, but they will never pull them out. I will go first through the Lindar, then the Naldor, then the Eregion Elves, and finally the Bodyguard units. We have your first arch unit from Linden, the Lindar Bowman. 7 attack, 5 missile attack for your first archer is very strong. They have a 4 charge bonus, so they're still capable in melee combat, and 13 total defense. They have 20 missiles and 170 meter range with average accuracy, but that is elven average accuracy, so it is better than human average accuracy. The Lindar and Cindar have no cavalry to speak of, so we'll move immediately on to their next tier, where we find the Cindar Axemen and Spearmen. Most models for the elves are the same as in Divide and Conquer. This is because those models are very good. They have 11 armor-piercing attack with 8 charge bonus, 25 total defense, so they're very strong, as they have the same number of soldiers as Divide and Conquer's Eregion Smiths do. These units are not yet relentless. We will soon get on to units that are. Here we have the Cindar Spearman, 14 attack, 8 charge bonus, and 27 total defense, already getting up into the range of human elites. And these are your middle tier. They're very strong and very expensive to come with it. All elves are slightly faster than their human or orc counterparts. We have the Cindar Archers, 11 melee attack, 7 missile attack, which is very good. 6 charge bonus, again, very capable in melee, and 20 total defense. 26 arrows and 190 meter range with high accuracy. The next tier up brings us to the Gwaini Lying, the Wind of Blades, as I did say in the first half of the video. Regarding elven models, the ones which we took from Divide and Conquer, thank you very much to Divide and Conquer 4, are the ones that were made by our resident elf specialist, Pandora. A massive thank you to the Silmarillion Total War team for helmets and other general assets that they allowed us to borrow. These guys use the two-handed sword animation and are relentless. They are a very strong sword staff unit. In fact, they're the only sword staff unit likely to be in this mod. They have 22 attack, 11 charge bonus. They're not armor piercing, but they do frighten enemy infantry. They have 26 total defense. They are absolute monsters. Don't let them charge anything that isn't literally a tank, would be my advice. Then we come to the Falathrim Nobles, the renamed Mithlond Nobles. 28 in melee attack, 12 charge bonus. They inspire your troops, they will provide fear to the enemy, and they have 34 total defense, of which 16, or about half, is in armor. And they cost over 2,000 gold to recruit. Costs will not be decreasing for these units, I promise you that. There are only 30 of them, but they are deadlier than most 200 strong units. In fact, all 200 strong units. That concludes the Lindar, so now we shall turn to the Naldor. Starting with their infantry, the Amanyar Swordmasters, 19 attack, 10 charge bonus. This is at the same tier as your Lindar units back there. 20 total defense, no shield, they frighten the enemy, they have a powerful charge, as do most of your units. They're very fast and very, very hard hitting. Here we have first your cavalry options. I'll start with the melee version, the Amanyar Riders. Virtually the same stats as in Divide and Conquer, the same you'll see for the Amanyar Rangers. Because cavalry cannot function when it is at a very small size. It's just not how it works. So we've had to keep them at roughly the same size as in Divide and Conquer. I've managed to shave off a few soldiers and buff stats accordingly, but if I were to shave off any more, they'd just die and they wouldn't kill anything. So this is how it has to be. Moving on to the Noldor, we have the Noldor Veterans. Sword-wielding units, 23 attack, 12 charge bonus, 29 total defense. These guys are just an upgrade for the Gwaini Lying. They're very, very strong. The Noldor Defenders. You start with one of these units in Imladris. It can be immediately retrained there. You unlock the higher tiers of the barracks as the High Elves by completing your scripts. I forgot to say that in that part of the overview, but here it is now. To train these high tiers, the Noldor, the Cindar, your elites, your uber elites, your uber elites, you have to do the scripts, basically. There will be no skipping the story to get the reward. You must work your way through the scripts. I think you'll find them quite enjoyable. But anyway, the Noldor Defenders, they can make a shield wall, they're relentless, as are the veterans beside them. There are 50 of them, 17 attack, 9 charge bonus, and 32 total defense, of which over half is in armor. The Naldor Archers, your second best archer offering that is recruitable. 12 melee attack, 10 missile attack, which is very good. 25 total defense, of which well over half is in armor. 32 missiles, 210 meter range, very high accuracy. They're fantastic. Use them always. Here we come on to temporarily named units. Fingolfin's Retainers, who are the Relentless Pike unit. 15 melee attack, so that would be 45, factoring in the animation, perhaps even 50, given that they are relentless. 8 charge bonus, they lay stakes, they inspire your troops, they will frighten the enemy something terrible. It is very possible that Snugger, led by no general but a captain, may well just run when they get near these guys. That is fair. If they do not run, they will die. Rapidly. Especially if they're horses. And another temporarily named unit, the Fingolfin's Rochen. Your best recruitable cavalry unit. 13 attack, 14 charge, 34 total defense. Absolute destruction incarnate. Then we come to troops that you can recruit absolutely none of until you complete some script. Yes, we do have the generic Roman peasant here. We have not quite finished their unit cards, but I could not delay this video any longer. These models were all provided in their base form by Theodron of Blood of Numenor. They have been tweaked somewhat by Pandora, but all credit to the model itself goes to Theodron. Thank you very much, kind sir, for letting us borrow these glorious unit models. And to start with, the Smiths of Eregion. Effective against armor with 8 attack and 6 charge, 17 total defense, which is spread out exactly the same way as the Lindar Mariners earlier. They're strike infantry, and they are your militia. Yes, that is what militia looks like for the elves. Get used to it. The Rangers of Eregion provide your best archer unit. I did want to lower their numbers even more, but that would make them entirely useless as an archer. They have 8 melee attack, 11 missile attack, and 4 charge bonus. They're not good in melee. Keep them out of melee at all costs. They have 15 total defense, so they can stand up in melee a little bit, but it is not worth it. If I remember rightly, they have 36 arrows and a 240 meter range with exceptional accuracy. These will not miss. Don't let them waste arrows. Use them as assassins, for they will kill it, whatever it is. Then we come to the Guardians of Eregion, your best defensive unit. When I was rebalancing the elves, I noticed that the Philathrum nobles and the Guardians of Eregion had roughly the same stats and the same role. So I changed it. The Philathrum nobles are your offensive, attack, strike, murder everything unit. 28 attack, 12 charge. The Guardians of Eregion are your tanky, we will hold this line and it will not move unit. 12 attack, 8 charge, 44 total defense. They frighten the enemy as well they should. They are the immovable objects. They inspire your own forces. They have a powerful charge, although that is not how you should use them, and their swords look absolutely glorious. These are all of your recruitable units, save one, which we will visit in this section of the battle map overview, the Bodyguard units. The elves are the only faction where I may have gone a little bit overboard with bodyguards. We will start with your generic bodyguard, however, which is... here, the Calaquendi Lords. 17 in the bodyguard. All of the units here, except that one, are relentless. 20 attack, 9 charge, 35 defense. Solid. They're not meant to hold up to combat alone. If you send them in alone, you are signing their death warrant, and shame on you for it. Your generals are rare. You cannot afford to lose them. Then we move to the Celebrimbor Hammerguard. I need to rename that to Hammerguard of Celebrimbor, because that's just stupid the way it is currently. These are the bodyguards of Dornanorsten the Smith. 15 armor-piercing attack with 9 charge and 33 total defense. The armor was made lovingly by Pandora and Bill Baraka. It's unique, to say the least, and it is very nicely textured. Then we have the Eresiando Termor, the Watchers of the Lonely Land. I was correct in that. Although, if you have an alternative translation, please do let me know in the comments below. These are the bodyguards of Eladan and Elrahir, the High Princes of your realm. They're gold. That's it, basically. They're just all gold. 26 attack, 14 charge, 23 total defense. Not armor-piercing, they do scare the enemy, and they do not inspire your own forces. These are in no particular order, by the way, as I hope you've already gathered. Let's go on now to the Champions of Himring, using the same style of armor, but with one of the Silmarillion Total War's delicious shields. They are shields? Helmets. I believe these were made by Castellan, the helmets, I mean. They are available to recruit from the Isle of Himring after you have conquered it, and after a certain descendant of Feanor has been located there. They provide his bodyguard unit as well. The identity of said person will be a surprise for you. I do not feel like spoiling that yet. 17 melee attack, 10 missile attack, 6 charge bonus. They are primarily a hold-the-line sword and board archer. 37 total defense is nothing to scoff at, though, so be wary if you are fighting them. Gilgalad's company are the bodyguard of Elrond Half-Elven. 24 melee attack, 12 missile attack. These are your best archers. 28 missiles, 235 meter accuracy, 235 meter range, exceptional accuracy, 38 total defense. These guys are seriously looking to kick some goblins down mountains. These guys stand out quite a bit, don't you think? They're Johannael Kalio, the Company of Light. That's an incomplete description there. The bodyguard of Gildor Inglorion of the House of Finrod. Another one of the Silmarillion team's helmets. A copper-coloured armour by Pandora. I insisted on this colouring. Don't take it out on him. Take it out on me if you don't like it. It won't change. I guarantee you that. They're not your best bodyguard. They're not your best unit. They're just decent all round, because Gildor isn't really a fighter. He will step up. He will kill things. But it's not what he's always done. It's not what he was born to do. 27 total defense, of which over half is in armor. I will now do the Roqueni Loralmo, the Knights of the Golden Flower, the bodyguard unit of Glorfindel of Gondolin. They're just incredibly powerful cavalry. They are about the only cavalry unit that will be able to single-handedly destroy the bodyguard of the Witch King of Angmar. The Morgul Vanguard. And that is because they have 14 attack, 15 charge, a bonus against cavalry, and 38 total defense. Pikes will still kill them. Don't suicide them on pikes. It is not worth it, I promise you. Finally then, the last unit of the elves, the Kirin Gwingloth, the Mariners of Vingilot, the swan ship of Eärendil. These soldiers guard the life of Círdan of the Havens. They are javelin throwers with body-piercing javelins. 3 javelins. Body-piercing and armor-piercing with 14 missile attack. 18 melee attack with spears, 8 charge bonus, and 34 total defense. Yet again, we see beautiful helmets from the Silmarillion team and lovingly crafted and textured shields and chest pieces from Pandora, with beautiful jewels of sapphire, emerald, and amethyst. They also, half of them roughly, wield tridents, the other half wielding the classic elven spear, to further signify that these are mariners first and foremost. As you may be able to tell, my voice is going, so this is where I will end this video. You will see a developer diary coming very shortly after this has been uploaded, so look forward to it. I have been Commander Soul, and I will see you next time. Commander Soul over and out.